I appreciate this award and to be honored. It's somewhat unusual for a person my age to receive an honor. We usually are kept on the shelf. And thank you, Sylvia, for your years of collaborating. And you and I have had a long period together, and we worked to put this together at Grand Valley after you had so successfully put it together in Muskegon. And I will always think about our collaboration as one of the important parts of my life. And Philly, thank you for being here, for showing your support for this very important program at the university. In my 42 years of college presidency, I never had a predecessor more than 1,200 miles away. I mean, always had a predecessor 1,200 miles away. Philly has 3 right in her doorstep. Presidents usually leave so that the incumbent isn't burdened. But we show up. And so almost every time she has to be prepared to thank us. That is, yeah, good. Yeah. Thank you. I mean, you have an experience that you can write in your memoir that no other president has. Well, I was raised with kindness, generosity, understanding, and enveloped by love by Christian parents who grew to maturity in the Dutch Reformed tradition. I am one of the fortunates who lived, nurtured, and encouraged, and look back with appreciation for being born to them and to the values and structures that sustained our lives. Like many adolescents, I had questions. When I pressed my father about religion, he told me his story. Like many idealists of his age after serving in the U.S. Air Force in World War I, he signed on to teach in a Reformed Church mission high school in Vellore, India. While there, he developed a friendship with a Hindu gentleman. During a period of 2 years, they became close, discussing all that most mattered in their lives. My father told me his friend's faith was as valid as his own, and that they were taking different religious routes to the same destination. As I reflect on my father's interactions, he's very much in the Dutch Reformed Church colleges, his development of friendships, his non-judgmental nature, and his decisions, I see how his life was affected by his experience with his Hindu friend in India. His experience planted a seed in my garden of thought. The seed grew into a plant and is now in full flower. So when Sylvia desired to make Grand Valley the permanent home for the interfaith dialogue that she had started in her Muskegon temple, it gained my attention. To have the faiths come together at a state university for dialogue fit my concept of what Grand Valley should do. In the 5th century BC, one of the fathers of philosophy as we understand it, Heraclitus, stated that all religions have some truth. Since his time, most of the great world's religions developed associated with and inspired by a human with a cast of divinity. Only our Jewish friends can claim their religion came before that time and directly from God. The rest of us have to concede that. I just raised the question, how can they be so lucky? Most of us who are ready to enter into religious dialogue are loyal to our own traditions, yet we may consider, along with J.B. Phillips, who wrote a book entitled Our God is Too Small. We may be moving to a position that if we understand others' perceptions of God and religion, our own concept may grow in insight and understanding. All the evidence indicates that human evolution is not static. What can we gain positively from one another in that process? Recently, I read a sermon from the late Dick Rem that Peter Hart posts from the Grand Valley Archives. Dick used as his text the final verses of 1 Corinthians 13, ending with, "The greatest of these is love." He explained that the word love in English implies too many meanings. He then listed words in other languages necessary to define what we include in love. He selected one that means respect. Then the verse concluded with, "The greatest of these is respect." Doesn't respect bring us together in this interfaith endeavor? Doesn't respect hold us together? Where will this respect carry us? Perhaps to new limits of spirituality. We do know if we could convince our fellow religionists to share our views, the world would suffer less and have much greater periods of peace.